This is Mel, and I'm here to talk about the Vampire Diaries, episode 815, titled We're Having a June Wedding, which premiered Friday, March 3rd, 2017 on the CW. Guys, huge reminder, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the episode, go do so first. I highly recommend doing that first, and then coming back to see what I have to say about the episode. Otherwise, my other video reminders are up on screen. And with that said, guys, let's start with the 10-minute clock, and let's begin with what happened in this episode. First off, guys, this was the second to last episode that we're going to get of the Vampire Diaries. And they really made it known with a lot of things that were said in this episode. So anyways, the episode title quote, "We're having a June wedding," was said in the pilot episode by Caroline to Bonnie about Stefan. I mean, like, talk about foreshadowing or what. Anyways, so timeline-wise, though, this immediately takes off after 8:14. I guess you can kind of say it's the day after they discover that Catherine's the new ruler of hell, and then an additional day after for when the wedding takes place, I believe. I think. Otherwise, it spans over a few days, but it definitely takes place immediately after the previous episode. So storyline-wise, though, guys, it really does focus around the wedding, but I did pinpoint 3 different focuses that lead up to the wedding. So first off is Stefan and Caroline's wedding to begin with. Second was the plan to destroy Catherine and her rulership over hell. And the third one is what Catherine plans to do itself. So first storyline is Stefan and Caroline's wedding. Damon uses the wedding as a way to lure Catherine out. And so it's kind of has to be brought up to be a lot sooner than Caroline had wanted. But either way, Damon officiates the ceremony without any interruption. So Stefan and Caroline are now married. Beautiful ceremony, beautiful vows with many trips down memory lane for sure, which is what I was alluding to earlier. So there's that. The second one deals with the plan to destroy Catherine. So the team figured out that they needed to create a new ashen dagger specifically for Catherine. So they bring in Peter, who is a metal who works with metals, to create a new ashen dagger from Catherine's bones that Damon and Stefan went to collect. So there's that. We also had Dorian theorizing about how to destroy hell, and he thought about overloading hell with enough psychic energy to rupture it. So don't know if that's plausible or not. But the team plans to either kill Catherine, or either to sever Catherine's link to hell and kill her, or kill hell in hopes that it will kill Catherine in the process, since she's tethered to it. So there's that. Third storyline, or third thing that was brought up, I guess you could say, was Catherine's overall plan for everyone in Mystic Falls. And that was the fact that Kelly Donovan was supposed to provide a distraction at the wedding so that Vicky Donovan could get to the Maxwell Bell and bring Hellfire to town. When this happened, when the first ring happened, it ended up knocking Bonnie out, though. Tidbit-wise, though, guys, again, as I just mentioned, Kelly Donovan and Vicky Donovan return, but we do find out that Kelly Donovan had died 2 years ago due to a bad fall, and that's why she's in hell and doing Catherine's bidding. So there's that. Also, we know that Vicky died in season 1. We also got Valerie being mentioned in regards to Stefan having contacted the heretic so that she could put additional protection spells over the twins, so that they could attend the wedding without any fear of anything happening to them. Valerie has a soft spot for Gemini twins, from the sounds of it. Also, we get Alaric not attending the wedding because it looks like he still has feelings for Caroline. Dorian references Caroline as Alaric's girl. So that was a little sad. But we do get Alaric sharing with Dorian the reason why he came back to town, the reason why he stayed in town. So there's that. You also see the twins siphoning magic from Bonnie, which confirms that she still has magic within her, which is what Enzo has been trying to tell her all along. Because in order for Bonnie to still see Enzo and be connected to him in the way that she is, she has to have magic of some sort. Maybe she can't tap into it as easily as beforehand, but she still has it, and the twin siphoning from her kind of proves that. And then also we get Enzo telling Bonnie to live her life, to the fullest, and then they will meet again in the future someday when it will just be peace, that they can venture off together with no obstacles, no fears, no worries, or anything like that. So that's a promise he makes to her, and she makes it back to him. So moving on to the most shocking moment of the episode, I think it has to be the fact that both Kelly and Vicky Donovan returned, and they are working for Catherine. Many times throughout the episode, you always see the shadowy figure or a silhouette of a woman with blonde, or not blonde hair, a woman with really big curls. So at first you're thinking Catherine, because you're anticipating Catherine's return since she is the new ruler of hell. So at the beginning you see her, but then it's revealed that not only is Kelly back, but she's killing so that she can stay longer on this plane. And then it's like, oh, is it actually Kelly who's making all these distant kills? And then you see it happen with Vicky. She still looks the exact same from behind. The curly hair, her curly dark hair, the strut and everything. And you could think that she's Catherine from behind, but really it's Vicky. So it makes you also wonder, did we actually see Catherine at all? Obviously not her face, but like her silhouette and everything. But anyways, that was the most shocking, was that we got both Kelly and Vicky back. So for Matt, it would have been a big family reunion for him. So there's that. Moving on to top 3 favorite moments of the episode. I definitely have to say that one of my favorites was that Stefan and Caroline's wedding wasn't interrupted. And even Caroline was surprised by that. Initially, the wedding was meant to lure out Catherine, but when she didn't come at the does anybody eject phase, Damon wanted to continue with the ceremony. He didn't want to just put a pause on the ruse, and Caroline was surprised by that, and they actually went through with it. They did their own vows. Damon told them to wing it, which they did, but they ended up bringing up memories of the years they spent together, both as friends and both as a couple, and they brought up old quotes that they've said to each other over the years, mostly one that she said when she first saw him, also when they went to prom together, or when he danced at her at prom. So it was a huge trip down memory lane for the relationship that Stefan and Caroline have, and just how far they've come in all these years. So it was a beautiful, beautiful ceremony. Very glad it was not interrupted whatsoever. So I'm glad for that. Second favorite moment has to be Damon and Stefan. Throughout the episode, mostly just the support that the two of them get with each other. Damon helping Stefan prepare for his wedding, and then when they went to go get Catherine's bone, the quote-unquote bachelor party, and then how Damon pretty much recapped everything that they have been through because of Catherine, which was essentially listing off every villain they've had to face in the last 8 seasons, which was clever. And then just bringing up the memories that a few key moments that they've shared in the last 200 odd years together. So that was pretty cool to see the brothers have this moment, to have Damon officiate his little brother's wedding, to have Stefan hope that he will see the same happen for Damon one day with Elena. And just it was such a great thing to see these two brothers at this stage for the two of them. There's also something else. Oh, and also when Stefan got drunk, and just to see Damon kind of put the bucket, tell him not to puke on the carpet, it was so Damon. But I was like, yes, finally we have a true representation on this show of what it means, or what is supposed to happen when you drink too much. So that was great. So there's that. Another favorite moment of mine has to be the moment where we see the twins siphoning magic from Bonnie in order to protect themselves from the explosion in the house. I really like that. Not only is it because we got to see these 3 use magic together, but it confirmed the fact that Bonnie had magic. It was really cool that by instinct the twins knew what they needed to do to survive, and that was to siphon the closest magical source to protect themselves, even though they didn't know specifically how they were going to protect themselves. And then to have Bonnie guide them in, like, you need to be able to do this so that we can get out of here. I really like that, and I really hope we get more teachable moments like that for them. Hopefully not as dangerous, but I can't wait for that. Another bonus moment I I liked is not really a moment, but I guess it's kind of a quote, and it was Alaric who was telling Dorian about why he had come to Mystic Falls, and it was to hunt down Daemon, and how eventually he just grew tired of hating Daemon, and then in the end, he had found a family in Mystic Falls. So it was just this. It was a voiceover to the starting of the wedding. So it's just, I really liked how Alaric was explaining things and the revelation he came from, everything they experienced, and like that was pretty cool. So there's that. Moving on to top 3 peeve moments. The only thing I had to deal with Kelly attacking Peter, and that was only because while I am very glad that Peter Maxwell survived Kelly's attack against him, I just find it very impossible that he would have survived his throat being slit the way that it was. And it happened midday when he was attacked, and he wasn't found until the evening when it was dark out, and he was still bleeding out. I figured that he would have at least bled out already. He would have died waiting for someone to find him. It didn't make any logical sense how he could still be alive after he was attacked the way he was. That's the only peeve I had. It was really, it didn't really fit, I guess, logically. But anyways, moving on to what moment will I remember most when I look back on this episode? The wedding, for sure. Absolutely, the wedding. The title itself gives it away, so it's going to be a huge reminder with that. But moving on to random questions very quickly, I only have 2. First one is that I really still do not understand how Catherine became the next ruler of Hell after Cade was destroyed. I mean, there's got over, how many years that Cade's been the ruler of Hell, or since he's created it. There's got to be more qualified people who are a lot older than Catherine to take Cade's place as the new devil. I mean, you have Silas, you have Ketsia even, you have Michael, you have Esther, you have Dahlia, who was introduced on the originals in season 2. You have all these bigger bads that are a lot older and have a lot more power, or were a lot similar to Cade. They make more sense to be the next ruler of Hell than Catherine. Yes, symbolically it makes sense why Catherine, she was the first villain that we were introduced to. She is going to be the last one we have to deal with before the series ends. But logistically speaking, Bonnie makes more of a viable candidate as Cade's successor because of the fact she created her own psychic dimension. I mean, Silas shared the same type of capacity maybe as Cade. Even any of the heretics that they had killed previously could be powerful enough to do something like this. So just for me, it still doesn't make any sense how Catherine was able to worm her way into the successor spot. So there's that. If anyone has a theory, please let me know in the comments down below. Second question, though, is the fact that, is Catherine actually on the plane of existence of everyone else, or did she just send a whole bunch of other souls from Hell through so that they could do her dirty work and kind of psych people out in preparation for her arrival? So there's that. Plus, also, does that mean that Kai was kind of working for Catherine too, in hopes that he can manipulate the team to kill Cade so that she could take the spot? So that's another thing I'm wondering about too. So moving on to predictions, though, guys, the promo for 8/16, it's not really a promo. It's just a little featurette promo of all the interviews that are going to be shown about how the series began and all the stories that have happened over the last 8 years. And then it's going to lead up to the series finale. They did show a few snippets of Nina Dobrev being part of the interview with her short hair, so you know it's as recent as possible. And then it ends with the little teaser sneak peek of Elena reuniting with Damon in the hug. So as you know, the next week, the final air date of the Vampire Diaries at 8 o'clock is going to be a little featurette that's going to have the cast and everyone involved talking about the show and what it means for them in the past 8 years, all that stuff. And then at 9 o'clock is when the series finale is going to air. So based off the synopsis, though, for 8/16, guys, it reads that with the fate of Mystic Falls at stake, Stefan and Damon must fight their greatest enemy for one last battle. So, Obviously, the greatest enemy is going to be Catherine. She's only the greatest enemy for them because of the personal connection and how personal connection to them and how very intertwined she became in their lives. For a long time, one was obsessed with the other, while another was obsessed with the other. They were the original 3 love triangle that was going on. So it'll be interesting to see how we see everyone in this series finale. And I'm excited for it, yet I am dreading it, because once we see this, that means it's it. That means it's over. So also, with that said, as you know, familiar faces that have been reported to have shown up are on screen, of the ones that we've already seen so far. But we do know that Nina Dobrev is back for the finale as Elena, as obviously it's very possible that she's going to also play Catherine too. I mean, come on, you can't give this much of a build-up and not have her do that. But then there's also supposedly 3 other new faces that we haven't seen in a very long time. Or I should say 3 familiar faces we haven't seen in a while, and then 2 others that we have seen this season reappear. So there is that. So I'm super excited for that. What do you guys think is going to happen in the finale? What do you guys hope is going to happen, or where do you think is going to be the end tally for it? Let me know in the comments down below, as well as what you thought about this episode. I'd love to hear about all that. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and check out my other videos if you haven't done so already. If you want, check out my Tumblr page. The link for that is down below. I read blog promos, web clips, quotes, GIFs, synopses, news, all that good stuff, all found in one place. So go check it out and follow me there if you like, as I do a bunch of other shows for that too. So there might be a few others that you might like, including the originals. So there's that. Also, it's also attached to my WordPress account. So it's a work in progress, but everything I post online is eventually connected to everything else. So WordPress is your one place that you can find it organized and easy to find. So there's that. Also, if you want a detailed recap of the episode, a play-by-play, if you will, as I watched the episode for the first time, included with in moments, thoughts, and questions I might have had, check out my Livejournal entry. The link for that is down below. I do those because I suck at details. So if something I need to pinpoint or need something to be focused on, then that is something you can go check out. I've done it since season 2, so it's just 2 more of those entries for the Vampire Diaries, and then it's done. Sad as it is, for sure. So anyways, guys, that's about it. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you come back next week to hear what I have to say about the series finale. But until then, guys, this is Mel. Wishing you all a great day, great week wherever you are. Bye for now.